was not supposed to tell a story. We need more names in these buckets. That's why I have my whiskey, because it's my day off from work, my job. It's my Sunday. I dropped my kid off at my mom's in Northeast Philly. I took an Uber here. It's a big day for me. I was supposed to be chilling back there watching you guys. Forbidden fruit, okay. I think I was the forbidden fruit for my Uber driver. I don't get hit on often, but he asked me how old I was while we were driving. And I was like, I'm 35. And he was like, no, you're no older than 32. And I stopped talking to him. So in the midst of that, the silence, Hungry Eyes came on the radio, and I was like, shit. Hungry Eyes. That came on. And I was like, oh no, this is awkward. And then I'll Make Love to You came on after that. He was listening to 106.1, The Breeze. And I was like, shit, this is even more sexual. And then Africa came on by Toto, and I was like, this isn't sexual at all, we're good. So he dropped me off. Forbidden fruit. I was going to tell the story of how I met my husband, because up until then I kissed a lot of princes, kissed a lot of frogs until I met my prince. I'm drinking Makers on the rocks. What do you want from me? I kissed a lot of frogs, though. And by frogs, I mean men. And by kissed, I mean fucked. I kissed frogs that were way too old for me. I kissed frogs that were way too young for me. Not like illegal young, but like, you want to go back to my dorm after this young, or I'm going to pick you up in my mom's Camry for our date young. That kind of young. I kissed frogs at work that found out about each other in the break room, and the only logical thing to do was to quit my job. But I kissed a lot of frogs until I met my prince. Of course, my prince and I are currently separated, which makes me very sad. I know, I'm very sad right now. I feel like garbage. But I'm really happy to be here. But the story of us goes a little something like this. My prince was at a house party, and he was wearing sweatpants and slippers at this house party. And I was 28 years old, I was single, and I was like, that guy, him, right there. That's him. And he lived with my cousin who was throwing his party, and I asked her about him because she gave us the tour to her house, and I saw his room, and I saw the closet, and I saw what size shoe he wore. And I was like, yeah, it's like big feet. So I asked her, I was like, what's going on with this guy? And she's like, he just got off of a relationship, he was engaged, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't give a shit. I love him. So I shook his hand, and I said, the first thing I asked, because I was out of the game for a while, so I was like, what gym do you belong to? Because I know you work out. And he was just like, ew. And that party was like a game of Pac-Man, because I was like chasing him. And he was like, and I was like, My son's into Pac-Man right now, so this is the only reference I have. And he didn't like me. And I was like, well, that sucks, because we're going to get married. So 2 months after I left that party, he invited me to be his friend. And I was next to my mom, and I said, oh, my future husband just requested me on Facebook. And she said, that's cool, you can say that, but never say that to anybody else except for me. And I was like, okay, but we're gonna get married. So I go to another party that he's having, and like, come correct, man, I'm in it to win it. So I was like, you know what, we're gonna skip the dating thing, we're just gonna bang. Because if I can trap him with that, we're gonna get married. So we're having a great time, and I asked him in front of everybody, I'm like, are we gonna hook up tonight? And he's like, ew, what are you doing? Why? Like, what is this? Well, we did. And then 2 months later, he asked me on a date, because I was like, we should get some food. Like, we should like talk and get some food. And he's like, all right, if you want to do that. And I did. So we sat down to sushi. I knew I loved him because he had Esurance, which is a really shitty car insurance at the time. And I had Esurance. And I was like, oh my God, I love you. We're meant to be. So to tell him that like we were meant to be, I would like do like cute little things. Like he would tell me, I call him, he's like, I'm at ShopRite getting food. And I'm like, cool. And I'd go to the ShopRite and I'd leave a little note on his car. It said, I'm thinking about you and I'm watching you. And for our second date, I'm not kidding, I got him a shirt with my face on it, and I got myself a shirt with his face on it. And he looked like kind of creeped out in the beginning, and then he like wore it, so like he was cool with it. And this kind of shit went on for a while, and we got married. You know why? Because he's a fucking weirdo like me, and he was into it. He liked it. He liked it. I see the light. I'm ending. I promise.
Go on.
So we do. We get married. We have a baby. We get jobs. We buy a house. I drive a mom-mobile. I do all that shit. And now we're not as weird as we used to be, which is very sad because I think we need to go back to that weirdness. And I have no ending to this story because I wasn't supposed to tell a story tonight. Thank you.